I'm Pastor Rick, and this is Straight Talk on Scripture. I have the answer to a question that maybe many of you have thought but haven't asked, and that's, why is my life so hard? Well, hear me out. All right. There's a pattern when Jesus wants to use somebody, and many of you listening to me may very well fall in that spectrum. Maybe you haven't met Jesus yet. Maybe you've met him, but you're not really serving him. But maybe he's got plans for you and he really wants to use you in a big way to do something important. This is what he does. First, he takes you. Then he blesses you. Then here comes the part that none of us like. He breaks you. And that's what maybe some of you are going through right now, the breaking process. Then he gives you. Then he can use you. Let me give you an example. We know the story of Joseph, who his brothers, threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery. Let's look at Joseph. Joseph had a big call on his life. He told his brothers all about it. They got angry. And what they did is they threw him in a pit. They sold him into slavery. He ended up in Egypt, where he ended up being accused of raping his boss's wife. He ended up in jail. And from jail, he ended up being kind and interpreting somebody's dream. And he ended up second in command of the most powerful country in the world, Egypt, at that time. What God did with Joseph is he took him, he blessed him, then he broke him, then he used him to save the whole world. Let's look at Jesus. The Father took him, he blessed him, he broke him on the cross, and then he blessed the whole world, just like Joseph. You see, the pattern is the one we see in communion, where Jesus takes the bread, he blesses it, he breaks it, and then he gives it to those he loves. So if you're going through a time where you just don't understand, you feel like you're being broken, maybe it's because Jesus is getting ready to use you in a great way, and great things are in your future. Just something to think about. I'm Pastor Rick. Remember, with Jesus, there's always hope, there's always love. See you next week.